Tralee native Seanie Sugrue pictured with his girlfriend Amanda Martin at the premiere of the film, Bonbon, which was shot last year. Even though he lived in Tralee until he was 21 years old, writer and director Seanie Sugrue has lived in New York City for just over 13 years now, and he's started to develop the native accent to show it. It was 3 p.m. Irish time and 10 a.m. New York time when I spoke to Seanie last Thursday, and he said that he had woken up to a day of grey skies and pouring rain. "It's been bucketing here for 2 days. You try to leave Ireland but you end up having much of the same weather wherever you go," he laughed, speaking to the Kerryman. Having moved to New York in March 2005, Seanie has just passed the 13-year mark of living in the Big Apple, and by all accounts, he is now considered a proper New Yorker. In those 13 years since arriving, he has set up his own theater company called Locked in the Attic Productions. He has written, directed and produced numerous plays and short films and is now working on his most ambitious project to date, a dark comedy called Misty Button. "That why he moved to NYC is a question I've been asked about 20,000 times since I moved over here," he laughed. "Honestly, moving here just seemed like a good idea at the time. It was a place that I was always kind of fascinated with, and ever since I was a kid, it was somewhere where I thought I'd end up living. So, at the age of 21, I said, feck it, and went for it," he continued. "I'm finally learning my way around the place now. I was told when I first got here that it would take me about 10 years to get used to the place, and I'm finally getting there," he laughed again. At the time of this interview, Seanie was just 3 weeks out from the start of shooting Misty Button, and he said that things are starting to get a bit hectic ahead of the start day. The project, which starts filming in and around the city on June 18, is one which he said has garnered great interest and excitement among everyone who has read the script. The feature film, which we think will be about 95 minutes in length, is centered around two Irish guys. One of them is actually from Tralee, and I named him James Tian after a Garda I knew back in the day in Tralee. The other guy is called Owen, and he is from Belfast. These two guys are kind of down-and-out guys living in the Woodlawn area of New York City. The two lads, they run into a guy called Timmy Thomas in a bar, and he offers the two guys $500 each if they put a $10,000 bet on a racehorse for him. The horse is called Misty Button, and he has 35-1 odds to win the race, and of course, the two lads end up convincing themselves that the horse isn't going to win the race, and so they end up talking themselves out of placing the bet, Seanie continued. They sit in the bar and they watch the race, and of course Misty Button goes on and wins the race at the 35-1 odds, and these two down-and-out guys now owe this guy $360,000, and it turns out that the money wasn't even his. It belonged to the mafia, and they now owe the mafia this huge sum of money, he laughed. Describing the film as a very dark comedy, a la the early Guy Ritchie and early Quentin Tarantino style of filmmaking, Seanie has managed to secure a number of high-profile actors to work on the film. Some of these actors include Donald Power, Quantico and The Good Fight, Brett Latta, The Good Fight, Alpha House, and Mark Burkowski, House of Cards, Boardwalk Empire and Blind Spot. Talking about how he first got involved in filmmaking, Seanie said that ever since he was young, he remembered walking out of the cinema and thinking, I could have done that differently or better. I always felt that I could someday write a script, but for so long, I always just had an idea for a script and I never followed up on it. Anyone can have an idea, but executing the idea is where the real work is, he continued. After pitching a successful idea to his friend and seeing that idea come to fruition, writing went from being something he just thought about doing to something he did regularly and quite successfully. I started reading and writing a lot of plays, and that is where my passion has been for a long time now. I wrote and directed 6 plays in 2 years, and they were all directed here in New York. I think that I'll always see myself as a playwright and a writer first and foremost, but the only reason that I ever got into directing was because I never had enough money to pay a director back in the day. He laughed. I had to do it all myself, and I've taken a liking to it since, he said. Alongside his dual role of writing and directing, Seanie is the co-founder of Locked in the Attic Productions, a company that got its name after his girlfriend and co-founder once found herself locked in an attic for a number of hours. The company, which specializes in theater and movie production, was founded in 2015 with one of its main aims being to help find work for disillusioned actors and to work towards developing grittier and realistic plays and movies in the coming years. After the completion of Misty Button, later this year, and after submitting the film to festivals across America and Ireland, Seanie says that he is hoping to make it back home to Ireland for a month next year, where he plans on shooting his latest project all over the town. I've written a script for a film that's based there, and I've called it The Thorn of Tralee, which is obviously a play on the Rose of Tralee, and it's about an Irish guy who gets deported home to Tralee from New York. Something we're very excited about, he finished. Carryman.